A great Thursday afternoon. It is a beautiful afternoon in the city of Brownsville, and I am setting up the speaker system. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Almost Friday. It's almost Friday. and is it raining? Hello, Jeremiah. Sending hugs. Thank you, mi amor. Love you. Hola, hermoso. Hola, Griselda. Hey, my friend. How are you? I'm doing good, guys. I'm not at the. I had announced, I think, yesterday or this morning that I might be at the board meeting. I have opted not to be at the board meeting because the item that I was hoping to speak on uh, is not going to be on the agenda. So I received word that it would be tabled. So I didn't go. One of the reasons why you go speak in public comment is, to address a certain item that's going to be spoken about at the meeting. So right now we are waiting, been waiting to see uh, what is going to get voted on out there. Hola, ella, Leia, Leia. I already hear the good news. Well, let's hope. Hey, Erasmo, good evening, guys. It is kind of trippy to be out here a little bit earlier. Hello from some United States. You're in Arizona. Already 5 o'clock shadow me. I know. I know. Well, it's actually part of the. I didn't shave this morning, and let me tell you, my beard grows back lickety fast. I'll shave tomorrow. Been so busy. Hope you're doing well. Doing well, Ryan, man. We've missed you. We were actually hoping to have you on to give us a little bit of insight in regards to how's it going in regards to distant learning for you all. As the one of the things that teachers have mentioned and have shared is just it's a lot of work. So let us know, Ryan, when you have a chance. Let's see the board members clean their hands with Baltasar, and they will leave it to the new members. That's exactly what's going to happen. They are going to table the item for Baltasar Salazar. It's not good. Erasmo 2020. Luis, my man. And good evening, Robert. Erasmo, I like the scruff. I liked it too. I actually like that little shadowy little look. Me encanta. I like it how it makes it the face look a little bit darker. Es que without it, it just makes it look real nalguita. Cara de nalga. Santiago Blackmore. Saludos, papá. Ana hermosa, ¿cómo estás? Daisy. What are they going to talk about now? Well, we're hoping to come out and discuss what's going to happen in regards to opening schools. Let me go in there. Let me bring up the agenda. Should have started at 5 o'clock. It is scheduled for 5 o'clock, right? Am I wrong? Yes, it is scheduled for 5 o'clock. It's 5:04. Hasn't started yet. Public comment at first. Then the discussion. Drew's trying to bring up in regards to the Centennial Fund. Drew's full of crap. The first item on the board member request agenda, which is the only thing that we're going to, that one opening up schools, is discussion, consideration, and possible action to accept the audit findings on Brownsville Independent School District Centennial Foundation Corporation conducted by BI's Internal Audit Department, which Drew controls, just followers. and to forward a copy to the Internal Revenue Service Exempt Organization Examination Division to review and possible action. Drew has been adamant in trying to find something to blame staff on, and the Centennial Foundation is actually one of the BISD's most amazing foundations. I didn't know about it. I didn't know about it at first. I had my doubts on it, but it is what it is. The next item is the one that we're interested in. Discussion, consideration, and possible action to extending virtual distance learning for all BISD students and faculty for the entire 2020 fall semester. I've been saying it for months. Now that election is only 55 days away, now they are going to listen to Erasmo now. Where have they been hiding all this time? Hola, Erasmo. When can my cousins Rick Rodriguez and Michael Lara go over to get a shirt? Michael, I actually ran out of shirts, but I should have some on. I should have some Tuesday. Hola, mi amor. Someone's coming to pick up some signs. From Arizona. Love you too. Stay safe. Bring me a lot of souvenirs from Arizona. Oh, boy. Here we go. It's about to start.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone, to the special call board meeting today, September 10th at 5 o'clock at the Administration Building here in Brownsville, 1900 East Price Road. And would everyone please stand for a moment of silence?
Just two items that we're going to address.
Please join me in a moment of silence in memory of Maria Barreda, BISD staff member. Keep her family in your prayers.
Hey, buddy.
Our condolences and prayers to the Hudson Elementary family where Maria Barrera works and to her family. God help them through this.
I
Ms.
think
Chrissy, would you lead us in the prayer?
I'm not sure what's going to happen. They're going to approve send that thing to the thing. And in regards to distance learning, I think that the vote is going to be to not have classes till January 2021. That's my guess. Jessica, hello, nice mix of rain and no sun. Huh? Hey, DJ.
Thank you, Ms. Pat. Would you proceed? Roll call.
Hey, Dr.
Everyone
Schwartz.
here today except Ms. Laura Perez. I'm sure she's running late, but everybody else is here. Welcome, everyone. Go ahead, ma'am. Item 5, recommend approving the agenda of the special call board meeting of Thursday, September 10, 2020 with any corrections or deletions.
There's a correction or deletion rather for item number 7A on board member request. As per board member request, Ms. Laura Perez Reyes, who put this item on the agenda, she's requesting to be deleted from agenda and the backup as well. This is item number 3.
Yes, Dr. A?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Pena. I think that this item, since it was such a a high impact item. And I think that we have two of the board members that had supported the item being placed. I'm definitely not in favor of deleting the item at this point before the agenda. But if you want to have that considered at the time the agenda item comes up, I don't have a problem supporting that. I know Mr. Garcia and Mr. Cowan are here if they'd like to do it at the time of the item. Let me just finish, Mr. Cowan, real quick. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, take your
But prior to that, then we can't speak to it. And I think general public deserves an opportunity to hear what the district has done to address that issue so that it doesn't look like nothing's been done. I think it's just disingenuous for us to pull it before the agenda without an opportunity to speak to it.
Well, I withdraw my support for the item. I don't know if Mr. Garcia does as well.
Well, I agree that on deleting it for the moment being. I don't know if this is going to come back up again, but I don't have any problem addressing what has been done up to this date.
So in order to do so, we have to have it on the agenda to address it.
I mean, if you can make it public what happened, but I'm not sure if that is even fair to the person who's addressed either. So
I'm sorry, I
it'd
didn't
be
hear that,
better to
Mr.
leave
Cowan.
well enough alone than myself.
I'm sorry, sir?
I think the better thing to do would be to drop the item. But, you know, in terms of if you're trying to protect someone's interest and integrity and reputation, to drop the
Sylvia's
item.
taking
Because I think that
control.
does the most. If we do bring it up and show it what we've done, you know, there's good parts of it and there's bad parts of it. And just be best to leave it, you know, leave it alone. And if anybody wants to bring it back up, they can. Otherwise, it's a dead issue. That's the way I feel. So that's why I withdraw my support for the item.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cohen, for explaining your position. And Ms. Peña as chair and Dr. Gutierrez, and all respect to Dr. Gutierrez as the superintendent, he was given a directive to look into something. They've done that, and they've come to a resolution, or at least to a response for us. And I just think, again, since this has been so public in the last 2 weeks, I think the district deserves an opportunity to say whether or not that's been resolved. So that we can move forward. If not, it's just another rumor that lingers and lingers and lingers.
She's just defending, but
And that's just my 2 cents. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Mr. Garcia?
I don't think the matter has been resolved, though, yes, the district was given, told and advised to look into it. Again, if it was to make public what was discovered, that's fine. But I don't think the matter has been completely
What I'd like to do, Madam Chair, if you'll recognize
Yes.
me, is to make a motion that we approve the agenda with that amendment and deletion. That way, you know, we decide if we want to deal with it, you know. I think it's best, well, considering what we're doing tonight, it's just best that we don't deal with this issue.
And I guess and I hear both sides of it. I really do. The information we got was that the information that was made and the clarity on the documentation that the superintendent passed out to all of us pretty much said that there was nothing there. And I'm okay how you want to do it, because I do know that the information was passed on to us that no, there was no felony, or it wasn't. There's a lot of stuff on there. I don't want to
about
bring
it.
out there. They want to bring it back. I don't want to drag an issue like this. I think, yeah, I'm correct. It's unfair. And a lot of times, you know, some of us will have an opinion, some will have others. Some
Minerva is defending Baltasar
and some will
Salazar.
have a different way, and you can't change it. I see the point. It's lingered. I don't know, Mr. Garcia, you made a comment that you're okay with them presenting what it was. And I know Dr. A wants to present what it was. At this point in time, it's a very, we're between a rock and a hard spot when it comes to this particular issue, because of the work that was done to be presented, and the work that they pretty much were told to make sure they had all the documentation ready to go, and they did. And I don't know that the objective of it being pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, please forgive me for saying this, but it almost sounds like if you don't find the answer you want, you keep looking and looking. You know, the answer is going to be the answer, is going to be the answer, is going to be the answer. And I like to treat people with respect, because any of us at any time in our life, people will corner us and make something that isn't. And it's only fair to do what's right.
She's
But I
defending
would
Baltasar
the
Salazar.
consensus of the board about doing this, because at the end of the day, it has to be done with a consensus.
Madam Chair, I think
Yes.
the best thing to do, if you want to take a minute, you can go talk to the person whose reputation's at stake very privately for a second. We can wait and find out if he wants to have it done. Because it may not be something he wants. It's gonna be up to him. I mean, it's not my life, it's his life.
So we couldn't hear you because you didn't get close to the mic. Sorry.
Well, sorry. I think if you could take a minute and ask the person who's affected by this, whether they would like to have this brought out in an open session and disseminated to everybody in the public. You know, they may or may not, and you can just very quietly for a second step out. And
You're making him
he
a
wants to have it
victim.
done, well, we can do it.
Philip.
But,
No,
we're
Philip,
not.
no.
Not my life.
Yeah, I understand, but I don't want it to seem like somebody's trying to hide something because they're not.
Oh my
You know,
gosh. They're so
Um,
stupid.
The problem is some serious accusations were made last time out in public. And I think we all agreed that what we wanted to do was wait till October. It was going to be on the agenda for October. Then we had a board member that said, no, let's do it now. So we've all kind of geared up for this tonight. It's been a kind of an issue out in the public. And now it's pulled back again. I think there should be I think it should be on the agenda so there could be a few comments made tonight. That's just my feeling.
And again, I just think somebody ought to ask the question.
And if I may, Mr. Cowan, Ms. Peña, I don't have any problem discussing that. I think it's clear that there was an accusation, and we've found out now through independent counsel that there is no felony conviction, and that I never lied to the district, and that there was no violation of the Texas Education Code. So to me, that's the most important thing, that now we know from someone that's independent, and I've provided documentation to the board.
He's not independent.
Like I had promised the board a certified copy from the DPS as recent as of last week. And it shows no conviction. It shows no conviction. So again, I don't want to believe this, but I do want to put that out in public that at least I feel like the truth has to come out. And the truth is I did not violate the Texas Education Code. I'm not a convicted felon, and I did not lie to the school district. With that having said, I don't have any problem. If they want to put it back on the agenda for October, I've got no problem. My position is going to be the same.
And I hear what you're saying, and the attorney that we used, Mr. O'Hanlon, did the research and sent us documentation, and he pretty much
He's
said what you
in
just stated.
Baltasar's
So if they want
pocket.
to push it back to October or talk about it now, then that is fine. But however, you know, I can respect my colleague's request to pull it, but it's going to be the consensus of the board because she did have two supporting people, board members, and if, Mr. Cowan, you said that you're okay with it being pulled or for later, and Mr. Garcia said that at this point they can discuss, but I think we've already pretty much said everything that needs to be said.
Yeah, the only concern again that I have is that this was pre-agenda discussion. The agenda hasn't been approved for it to be part of the minutes and the record. So that's the only concern. Nothing's official until it's the agenda item.
Well, yes, but everything that is said at the meeting, the minute we call the meeting to order, everything is part of the minutes.
Yeah, and this item can be put in the minutes, and I think Mr. Salazar wanted to have that put in the minutes, and I think I can amend my motion to add that what this report from the attorney would be put in the minutes, and then Mr. Salazar filed some documentation with the board that would be put in the minutes, and I think I'm okay there, Pat, you would put it in the minutes, and it would be publicly disseminated. You know, that would cover that. We just need a second on my motion if we want to move forward.
I'll go ahead and second that.
Finally, you imbecile. Ah!
Are we deleting the item?
What's the motion?
Sir, your mic.
Sorry. It's to approve the agenda with the amendment and deletion on the item that Ms. Laura Perez-Reyes put on, and that the documentation from the attorney be put in the minutes of the meeting, and I'm talking about Kevin O'Hanlon, and that the report from Mr. Salazar, the documentation be put in the minutes of the meeting as well. Because
So
that
if we
makes it
vote that
public.
down, then we could come back and vote to include it in the meeting tonight.
Yes, that's
It
what,
would be,
Yes.
and you said that would be resolved or get this issue taken care of once and for all. Could you say that in the mic, sir? Because it has to be part of the-
and that would resolve this issue, would take care of the other thing, because we're not going to need to do
No,
anything, take any action
Philip!
on that item anyway, so.
It just seems like we're discussing it before we've
So
even
what-
approved the agenda is what's going on. I think it would be more official if we go ahead and approve the agenda to include it, and then we can have the discussion that we're having right now, which I'm not sure is a valid discussion.
It is
Ms.
a
Peña,
motion before the floor. It's a valid
Yeah.
discussion. So, I mean, it doesn't make a difference.
It was
I
a
just-
motion and it was second.
What I would like to
Ms.
do is
Peña.
not have that be the focus of our meeting, because we have very important things we're dealing with. We put it in the record. Anybody that's interested can go read it. That's all. It's public, And I know what Mr. Salazar said, and he is not considered a convicted felon or anything like that. And I have some reservations about releasing it all, but he wants it, release it. It's all there, and it's his choice.
Thank you, Dr. Ray.
Yeah, Ms. Peña, just, and I respectfully disagree with having it being done before it's an actual agenda item. And I know that's semantics, Mr. Cowan, but I think one of the things, and I think you would appreciate that also, because of what you do, is to try to make sure it's as clear as possible. And I think right now it's not clear at all. And with all due respect to administration that worked very quickly to get all this taken care of, I just want to make sure that's at least done for the record. And I don't believe it's done the way it's being proposed. So if I can just, Mr. Cowan, just say this, and I explained to Mr. Garcia, I don't have a problem when it gets to that item. If it gets withdrawn at that point and we just leave it for the record, what's there, then that's fine. I just have a problem it being done before the agenda is approved.
Let me say this real quick. What you can see if you guys consent, if I'm not on the right track. Let's just leave it the way it is. When you get to that item, there's no action
Well,
taken on that item.
To change the order of the day and deal with it now, Let's do that.
Okay, you wanna
I'll
make a
change the order
motion?
of the day on my motion, amend that, and.
Oh,
we'll do it
God,
immediately.
God, God.
Garcia, are you in accord with that?
Mr. Garcia.
I'm sorry, Mr. Garcia's the second. No, you were the official second.
He doesn't
I'm
even know
sorry?
what's happening.
So Mr. Khan made the motion, Mr. Garcia seconded. And so that we change the order of the day to discuss item number,
Okay, but we're approving the agenda, right? Then we're gonna
Yes.
change.
Mike. So say
We're approving the agenda, and we're just changing the order to deal with it now, so we don't have to deal with it later. That'll get rid of it.
Oh my God.
You mean later, like for today?
Oh my God, little lady. Pay attention, little lady. Oh my God.
Approve the agenda and change the order of the day of item.
They don't even understand what you're saying, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
please vote.
On what? Recommend approving the agenda special call board meeting on Thursday, September 10th with any corrections, deletions, approve all agenda items.
Motion passes unanimous.
Oh my God.
We're changing the order of the day, item 7A3. Discussion, consideration, and possible action to review, amend, and/or terminate BSD Board Attorney Baltasar Salazar, Board Member request, Laura Perez Reyes, Board support, Eddie Garcia, and Philip Cowan. So at this point in time, there's going to be no action on that item, and the discussion that was taking place earlier, please reflect as part of the meeting, the minutes. Dr. Wright?
Yes, I think that'd be appropriate if Mr. Cowan's okay with that, since he said he withdrew his support of this item.
Yeah, and I think Mr. Salazar.
Sir, speaking to the mic, we can't.
Yeah, I think Mr. Salazar made the point that, Mr. Kevin O'Hanlon found that he is not a convicted felon, and it's going to be put into the record, and what was it? He didn't lie to TEA, he didn't lie to the district when he applied for a job and all that stuff. That's in the record there, so. And his report to the board and his credentials, his documentation, he said he would provide is there. And then the report from Kevin O'Hanlon is there, and it'll be disseminated to the public. They're not going to read the whole thing right now. And if
Philip!
people are curious, can go look at it. And the way I wanted to do it before, you could discuss right now. We're out of order by discussing something with no motion, but I think this should put an end to it. Unless you have something else you want to add, Dr. Atkinson.
No, I just want to make sure Dr. Geek that is on the record acknowledging that report as well, since it had to do with when it was submitted to the district.
I was directed to find a legal counsel to review this, and I contracted on behalf of the district, the board's directive, Mr. Kevin O'Hanlon. He has looked at all the documentation, reviewed the documentation, submitted his findings. I gave a copy to each of the board members of the findings, and this is exactly what the board is discussing, to accept the results of Mr. Kevin O'Hanlon what he found, Mr. Baltasar Salazar, based on all the documentation that was submitted by Mr. Salazar as well as what the district had.
Thank you, Dr. Gutierrez.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
God.
So at this point in time, no action on that item. We move on to the next item, please. The next item is a public comment period. Persons wanting to address the board during public comment shall, before the beginning of the meeting, print their names and the subject matter on the sign-in sheet provided at the entrance of the boardroom.
Yes. Ana.
Speakers are allowed a maximum of 3 minutes. Our first speaker is Patrick Hammis.
Oh God, the imbecile. Oh God.
Good evening, Board Chairperson Peña, Dr. Gutierrez, members of the board. My name is Patrick Hammis, and I'm a leader with Brownsville Educators Stand Together, BEST, and AFT, American Federation of Teachers. A union of professionals, I'm also a concerned community member. Since the pandemic hit BISD in our community in March, we've emphasized safety above all. For most of this time, we have been in agreement with the district administration in promoting employee and student safety. The district had been transparent in alerting staff and community of campus and department exposures and the closing of campuses and departments for cleaning by posting alerts on the BISD website. We are alarmed and concerned that this is not happening at this time. Employees at both Bastedo and Pace have been sent home. Some have been told to quarantine and others have not.
Oh my God.
Campus and district administration has not contacted all the employees or posted on the website that these campuses have had outbreaks. Employees are scared that they may have been exposed at work and then taken home to expose to their families. We would like to know why have the employees of each campus and the public not been notified, and why were employees needlessly asked to come into campus to make phone calls when they could have done that job from home? Couldn't this be considered reckless endangerment? As the district considers a reopening of campuses tonight, this is not the time to start concealing information from your employees and your community. You endanger losing your credibility with our community and the trust that goes along with that. Reading Academy. BISD is requiring all K through 3 grade teachers to get 60 hours of professional development in reading academies. This is a requirement of House Bill 3 and being run through Region 1. The question is, why are we doing this now? The teachers have until the year 2022 and 23 to get the training, and everyone is overwhelmed with instruction, attendance, TPRI, assessments, emails, phone calls. Can we not delay this at least till the second semester?
Yeah, now you're trying to stand up for teachers, you imbecile.
Attendance. At a recent meeting, and I'm sorry, I forget which one, we've had a few, administration has presented that attendance no longer need to be taken in the morning, that the district had been given flexibility by TEA
Isabel, you here?
to have attendance taken later in the day. I believe it was 3 o'clock for middle schools, 3:30 for elementary, and 4:30 for high schools. I could be off a few minutes. Apparently some campus administrators were not informed because they're still asking teachers to submit attendance at 10:20 in the morning. Where attendance is crucial for us, later is better, and uniformity is best. Can we get on the same page, please? Finally, I've been hearing from counselors and diagnosticians, special education diagnosticians, that they've been reaching out to HR to find out how much money they are making this year.
That's actually how they speak.
10 seconds, please. They've not been able to get anybody from HR to sit down with them or to respond to their phone calls. We are hoping that this can be alleviated since they cannot tell by looking at the salary scale anymore.
Little Eddie,
Thank you for your
little
time
Eddie, little
and have the
Eddie.
best evening possible.
Oh, flip-flopping fella.
Our next speaker is Alberto Alegria, virtual.
No. Not yet. This is next, James. Oh my goodness.
Welcome.
My apologies, but I'm here. wrong speech?
No, it doesn't count against his time.
10 seconds.
No, 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 no. Like, it'll start running when he starts talking. Come on.
Oh my goodness. Guys, 1 second. I'll be right back.
Well, I'm glad everybody's having fun. You know, education is about having fun.
Oh, shut up.
Here we go. Good evening, members of the board, President Minerva Peña, Superintendent Rene Gutierrez. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alberto Alegría, President of Texas Valley Educators Association and affiliated with the Browns Unions Coalition. As we complete the third week of virtual teaching and home learning, we're thankful and grateful for those teaching from
Shut
home
up.
and the This year's elections are extra important to our association, district, city, state, and country. We have witnessed many misfortunes in our city and country, and we, as devoted citizens, must make the right choices and hold these elected officials accountable by voting into office individuals that have the people's interests first,
Exactly. Me.
care for those less fortunate,
Me.
promote and advocate for areas of need,
Me.
create better paying opportunities,
Me.
display dignity,
Me.
and demonstrate respect for every human being
Me.
because every person's matter.
Me.
Thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you, guys.
Our next speaker is Veronica Borrego, AOBE, virtual.
No. Salazar is not going to get fired. Thank you, Ms. Miller, for the Cheez-Its.
Mr. Borrego, you may start. You have 3 minutes to address the board.
Can you hear me?
Start now. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay.
You may start.
Good evening, Dr. Gutierrez, board members, and board president Peña. My name is Veronica Borrego, and I am the proud president of AOBE, the Association of Brownsville Educators, the largest and only chartered association in BISD. I am here today to speak on concerns that have been brought to us by our members. The first concern is the parent commitment survey. While we believe that this information is vital to the district, the numbers will be skewed. As stated on the survey, any parent who does not submit a commitment form, BISD will default to face-to-face instruction as the designated instructional mode at their enrolled campus. This will not give the district actual number of students that will be returning and will in turn affect planning for continued distance learning and for safety at the campus level as well as the district level. The default should be unknown. There is no reason to skew numbers. The second continued concern is the PPE for the nursing staff with our district. They require additional PPE to ensure their safety as they will be in close contact and proximity with individuals who may be symptomatic or have COVID. In addition, nurses are asking if they can also be provided with desk shields for those who have small office spaces. The third concern that has been brought to our attention is professional development. While we are all lifetime learners, this pandemic and our continued distance learning professional development professional development takes up a lot of time. The district has now added the Reading Academy to certain grade levels. This academy is a 60-hour module course that will require teachers to complete quizzes, assignments, projects, etc. Our members have asked if they will be compensated for these long hours and additional work, and or if the district will be providing work days for completion of this academy, or can it wait? Lastly, before you vote this evening on continuing distance learning, we ask that you consider life. CNN reported that after 1 week in school, a 28-year-old teacher in South Carolina lost her life to COVID. She reported to campus on August 28th, began teaching virtually, was diagnosed Friday the week after, and died 3 days later. We ask that you put safety of staff, students, and the community at the forefront. Thank you for your time and have a good evening.
I'm not sure.
Our last speaker is Aida Avendaño, AOBE Virtual.
Hey, Vincent.
Connected.
Can y'all hear me now? Oh, now you hear.
Mr. Avendaño, you have 3 minutes to address the board.
Okay, I have a question for Mr. Salazar before my time begins. If I can get some clarification, is that okay?
Go ahead.
Okay, my question is everybody getting 3 minutes? Because I seem to see different times and other people that do not get interrupted. So I just would like clarification on that.
Yes.
Is it 3 minutes or do we have to ask for an extension of time? How does this work?
Everyone is
And
given,
you would have to speak up, sir, because it's very difficult to hear you.
okay,
Let me go ahead and take that question, Mr. Salazar, if you don't
Yes,
mind.
go
Yes,
ahead.
please.
As a board member and my colleagues, everyone gets 3 minutes. And when they're talking, sometimes somebody is in the middle of expression, an issue, and they politely ask, let me just finish, and we let them finish. But everybody is getting 3 minutes. We let them know your 3 minutes are up. Some people have asked politely, can you just let me finish this thought? And we allow them to do that. So we do that out of courtesy to everyone, Ms. Ida.
Okay, and that's good to know, but because I didn't see that some other ones asked for an extension earlier right now, and they just kept talking and it went way over 3 minutes. And I'm not talking about
They
the
did
time
ask.
when they were getting their speech
No,
and
ma'am.
they forgot it.
No, ma'am, they did ask for the extension. They did make a comment on that, or they signaled to us. So I'm sorry you couldn't see it from where you were at.
Okay,
I will give you the 3-minute
So-
warning.
I'm sorry, is the time starting? So it's hard to hear you, Mr. Salazar.
I said, I'll give you a 3-minute warning. I'll just say 3 minutes. I'll try to do it in between sentences. And then I just ask that, again, that you have closing thoughts, please.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone, members of the board and Dr. Gutierrez. Again, I come to you frustrated again on behalf of the majority of our membership, because here we are just the third week into instruction, and unfortunately, they feel already extremely burnt out. And I'm here to just say how it is. I'm not here to sugarcoat it, because I'm hoping that with this, it can be addressed and you would hear some of the concerns that are being said out there. So right now, I just would like for it to be known, the perception that is out there with the employees, the parents, and the students. It is that the superintendent has been making it difficult for remote learning, with the intention being of returning to face-to-face, okay? And it's been very clear, and let me cover just a few reasons of why they are sharing that with me. For example, starting off with the hotspots. I have heard several times that the hotspots reach the data capacity within the first 2 weeks. And to us, it just does not seem logical on what type of research could have been done and not take into account how the data was going to be exceeded within the first 2 weeks. So it's creating a lot of issues. This is something that should have been planned for accordingly. Okay. Second, the computers. We have heard about the computers being ordered back since quite some time. And we are still short on computer or Chromebook devices for the students. So there is still quite a bit of shortage. The next one, platforms. The platforms of Google Meets. Oh my goodness, what a nightmare this has become.
It's true.
This platform the district did not take into consideration input from the teachers, which is your frontline people that are going to be using this. And there is so many issues which Ms. Borrego shared at the last meeting, and I don't want to go into that entire list, but there is a lot of concerns and safety concerns, with the main one being that Google Meets is not certified by FERPA or the HIPAA violation. So we're in violation right there using Google Meets. And again, what research was done on this? The sanitation process. Okay, we're changing the rules as we're going. And there's positive infected areas. We're pulling now custodians, and I'm getting no clarification as to when this process has been changed. So there's major issues here because we're sending our custodians into. I'm sorry, did you say something?
I said closing comments. 3 minutes are up.
Oh, okay. May I please have a few extra seconds?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. The custodians are being pulled from one campus to go into another campus, and they are not given proper PPE equipment for them to be able to go into contaminated areas. And not only that, they are not being told, like in some other districts, it's being marked what areas are hot areas, meaning where the contaminated person was, so they can take extra precaution. We are not doing that in Brownsville. And I wish you guys would be open for recommendations, and so you could realize what is happening with this, because there is also no contact tracing being done. So those are, and I have more, but I will go ahead and cut it there. But I really hope that you guys really listen to these things and take into consideration these concerns, because your employees are very burnt out and frustrated and scared of having to report to work. So again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, everyone. This concludes our public comment period. Our next item, board member request. Item 1, discussion, consideration, and possible action to accept the audit findings on the Brownsville School District Centennial Foundation Corporation conducted by the BISD Internal Audit Department, and to forward a copy to the Internal Revenue Service Exempt Organizations Examination Division for review and possible action. Okay, board member request, Drew Brown, board support, Eddie Garcia, and Dr. Sylvia P. Atkinson. Ms. Brown?
Thank you, Ms. Pena. I have a few remarks I'd like to share with everybody. I wrote them out. It is my hope today that we can bring closure to a concern that I've had since joining the board in 2018.
You're full of
The
crap.
district's internal auditing department has completed its examination of the Brownsville School District Centennial Foundation Corporation, and each board member has received a copy of the report. This audit confirms what many of us have suspected since this so-called nonprofit charitable foundation was formed. It was sloppy, dishonest, and lacked transparency.
Are talking about sloppy,
We asked for
dishonest?
accountability from the foundation
Stupid, Drew.
because no current board members knew the details. None of us were members of the foundation, a foundation that BISD employees had generously donated more than $200,000
You just wanted to steal the
over
money for
3
Sylvia,
years
Drew.
through payroll deductions. Our employees deserved answers to their questions. We asked for the bylaws. We asked for an audit. We asked for some glimpse into how this foundation worked. We were basically told it was none of our business and that we had no right to ask how this money was being spent.
It wasn't your
The
money.
foundation, we were told, was totally independent from BISD. In fact, it was so independent that when this board started asking questions in February 2019, we were informed the foundation was immediately being shut down.
With Drew, it's all about the
No
money
explanation,
for Sylvia.
no accountability, no answers. The claim that the foundation was separate from Brownsville Independent School District was false. The audit report confirms these facts. Without the school district, there was no foundation. The group's listed address with the state of Texas was 1900 Price Road, this building. Without BISD, there was no reoccurring source of money to fund activities, which was the employee payroll deductions. Without BISD, there was no source of free labor. Foundation work was done on BISD time. That's not anything but a fact. And
Shut
it's a
up,
fact
Drew.
that's been verified by countless people, including myself when I worked for the district. Now, our internal auditors have confirmed it. The internal auditors report
You control
concludes,
it, you
and I
dog.
quote, "It is evident the foundation was not transparent to the Board of Trustees with its business operations. The lack of transparency with its operation and mission decreased the credibility of the foundation. The appearance of impropriety was also evident with the foundation's reluctance to provide the accounting records as requested by the district." End quote. The Brownsville School District Centennial Foundation failed BISD and ultimately failed itself.
No.
This audit was
It served
delayed. We
thousands
even
of
waited.
students.
The district waited for the foundation to meet its 503C requirements, the requirements that all nonprofit
You are
organizations
so full
must
of
meet.
crap, Drew.
However, the paperwork to cease operation of the foundation was never filed with the state and federal entities that were used to justify the charitable foundation status.
You are
Once
a liar.
again, the foundation failed to meet its obligation, even to the Internal Revenue Service. I move that we accept the audit findings of the Brownsville School District Centennial Foundation Corporation that were conducted by the BISD Internal Audit Department, and that we forward a copy to the Internal Revenue Service Exempt Organizations Examination Division for their review and possible action. That's my motion, but before we go to that, I'd like to personally thank all our BISD employees who supported our students with their dollars. They gave for two reasons. They gave for student scholarships, and they gave for student mini grants, classroom mini grants. I'm sorry that this foundation let you down.
It
Your
didn't.
intentions were
You
honorable.
did, Drew.
I also thank my board colleagues for wanting to bring this audit of the foundation to light. Everyone on this board was very clear that they wanted this put out into the public. They wanted this to be transparent. because it needed to come to light. So I
Second.
placed my motion on the table.
I second the motion.
Oh, you imbecile.
Second that motion.
And if I may, just for clarity, we are sending this in to make sure that BISD is not in any way, manner, or source going to be jeopardized because of a foundation that BISD entity had nothing absolutely to do with. But in fact, they were using the Brownsville Independent School District name, the address, and from what I'm hearing, workforce. So this is to be able to address this and protect the district. So in the future, the district would not be accused of allowing something to happen that was done incorrectly, and we don't want BISD to be liable for this.
Oh, shut up.
Please vote.
Ms. Peña.
Dr. Atkinson?
Yeah, I just had wanted to thank the board, Ms. Brown, the audit committee, and I know Mr. Porras, his department did a great job. This has been a lingering item, so I'm happy to see that it's come to closure at this point. And thank you, Dr. Gutierrez, for following up so many different times this year for us. Thank you.
Ms. Brown?
And I just want to reaffirm the reason that it took so long for us to bring it to light is we gave the foundation every opportunity to file the correct paperwork when they ceased operation with IRS, and we gave them that time to complete and fulfill their obligations, and they never did, and we decided to move forward.
You're a liar.
Motion passes unanimous.
Dumb.
Item 2, discussion, consideration, and possible action on extending virtual distance learning for all BISD students and faculty for the entire 2020 fall semester. Board member request, Minerva Peña. Board support, Dr. Prissy Roca-Tipton, Eddie Garcia, and Dr. Sylvia P. Atkinson. Thank you. Before I hand this over to Dr. Gutierrez, I want the community to know that we are working very hard to make sure that we can stay doing distance learning as long as we need to make sure that we ensure the safety of our faculty, our students, and our teachers 100%. And I know that TA has put out information where we need to come back in order to continue to be funded. But right now we are calling in all our resources. Mr. Cowan, I thank you. Mr. Cowan reached out also to our senator, so did I. We want to reach out to the governor's office, to the education commissioner. Brownsville's in a situation right now where we have to be very careful. You all have heard of the outbreaks at the schools, and Brownsville's a community. We have people that have an outbreak at Estero and are married to people that work at Lucio, so they go home to those people and they go to Lucio and back and forth. We don't want to open and end up having to close, and that would be the least of our problems. One thing I tell you, everyone, we cannot undo death. No one can undo
Shut
death.
up.
And I am not in a position where I am willing to take a chance on a student or a teacher or anyone that works for us. We have to protect them. Please know we're fighting as hard as we can to ask the governor, the senators, representatives, the Commission on Education, and TEA to help us continue distance learning to ensure our safety and our lives. And Dr. Gutierrez is also doing that. Dr. Gutierrez, may I hand it to you?
Thank you, Ms. Peña and board members. Obviously, the group up here, the board, myself, and everyone, we're just as concerned as everyone out there about bringing in our students as well as the staff into our campuses.
No, you're not.
But at the same time, we are having to work with the perimeters that right now at this time are beyond our control. We have to follow the guidance and directives that we get from the Texas Education Agency. And this is where we are now. And I want to just summarize a couple of things that we've done in the past as a board, as an administration, to be able to work and be able to run a school district with a pandemic that is going on. None of us here created this virus. We inherited this virus from different parts of the world. But it's here, and now we have to make it work. I've always said that we learn every day something new, and nobody out there has the right plan or the right
Erasmo has
course
the
of
right
action to
plan.
take, other than we are taking a day at a time, depending on the community we live
No,
in
it's not true.
and what's happening in our surrounding areas. But if you recall, back in January, maybe early February, the board approved what was a normal calendar year. This was before the pandemic started. I think it was late January or early February when we approved the calendar. we were supposed to start school, a normal school day on August 11th. Everything was worked out. We were planning already for the opening of the year. Of course, we all know what happened in March, right before spring break. We were hit hard with this pandemic, and all of a sudden,
And you didn't
we
do
had to make
anything
a lot
about
of
it.
adjustments overnight. And part of those adjustments, in the name of safety and keeping everyone safe, we decided not to open up on August 11th because of what's, the things that were happening. And we adjusted the calendar, and we had to work that calendar to try to push down the starting date a little further into August in hopes that things would be better. And so we started the school year on August the 25th. So we pushed it like 2 weeks more. And again, those are the efforts that we're making to see how we could have a better handle of this virus and opening school in a safe way. And obviously, August 25th came, and we had to be ready to bring in the students or start school. We decided with the starting of the school year, thankfully, the Texas Education Agency allowed us to do 100% distance learning for the first 4 weeks. And starting on August the 25th, those 4 weeks that we are allowed to go 100% distance learning expires on Tuesday, September the 22nd. But also this board took further action to submit a waiver to the Texas Education Agency. They allowed us to submit a waiver to have another additional 4 weeks of what we were hoping, and everyone in this room was hoping, to be an additional 4 weeks of 100% distance learning. However, under the direction of the agency, the Texas Education Agency, those additional 4 weeks were going to be granted, but the intent was that if students did not have devices or did not have access to the internet, then we had to allow them into our schools and open up our schools. And we are already in the third week of the first 4 weeks, so we still have tomorrow and all of next week to continue at 100% distance learning. But on week 5, we have to have a plan and submit the plan to the Texas Education Agency on doing a soft opening and allowing our students that don't have the devices again or the hotspots, allow them to start coming into our schools. I also want to say that our county officials also helped in the efforts to stay at 100% distance learning by issuing an order. The county judge issued an order that we were not going to be allowed of having face-to-face instruction until September the 28th, which we were glad to be a part of that, because that's, again, going back to everyone having this safety in mind for our students and our staff. But that order is going to expire on September the 28th. And in our conversations with the county judge, it is not going to be extended anymore. The orders will be expiring on September the 28th. And there will be an extension for us to go 100% distance learning. We were hoping that we could get some assistance through the local officials, the health experts, the county officials, to extend the 100% distance learning beyond September the 28th. But having said that, it's going to expire. There won't be an extension. The board approved the waiver for the additional 4 weeks, but within that waiver, we have to make our schools available to our students that don't have internet or devices. We've also met with our state senator, Eddie Lucio, and we've been asking our senator that if he could help us petition the governor, because it's all going to go up to the governor's office. If we
You just had that phone call yesterday.
100% distance learning, continue with it, it's going to have to come out of the governor's office, and so that the Texas Education Agency can have that direction from the governor's office. So we met with Senator Lucio.
You called him yesterday.
And in doing this and
Liar.
petitioning the governor to allow us to continue and not bring in any students into our campuses.
Liar.
Just a few minutes ago, I received a copy of the letter that Governor Lucio has already submitted.
It's
Senator Lucio has already submitted to Governor Abbott. And he's already sent me a copy of the letter. So it's sitting at the governor's desk. And I'd like to read at least 2 paragraphs of that letter.
Shame on them.
Let me read. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and read the thing, and please know that we are fighting very difficult.
No, you're not.
To get them to approve it. And
No,
we need everybody making you.
not true. The call to Senator Lucio came yesterday, Minerva. Liars! Liar!
This is the letter that was just sent to me. It has today's date, September the 10th, 2020, to the Honorable Greg Abbott. It says, Dear Governor Abbott,
Oh my
thank you
God.
for your continued effort to halt the spread of the coronavirus in Texas.
They're lying.
Your proclamation of September the 7th this week recognizes the continued need for extraordinary measures to control this deadly virus that has taken far too many of our constituents' lives. It is in the spirit of this endeavor that I ask for your guidance as schools in my district and across the state face the imminent return of students to their classrooms according to the requirements promulgated by the Texas Education Agency. Yesterday, I spoke with the superintendent and trustees of the Brownsville Independent School District who are concerned at the prospect of welcoming students back into their buildings during the second 4-week transitional period beginning on September the 28th. Their concerns, regrettably, are valid. They report that over 100 Brownsville residents have passed away due to COVID-19 just in the past 2 days. And they fear that following TA's guidance and bringing so many children into close proximity will speed rather than slow this deadly toll. I think you will agree that it will take continued effort to finally contain and overcome the coronavirus, and this is especially true in the Valley. Treating hotspots like Brownsville the same as others, less imperiled areas of the state using a one-size-fits-all approach risks subjecting the students of South Texas to unnecessary danger.
That's what I've been saying for months.
In the rest of the Texas. With this in mind, I humbly request that you provide consideration for the highly at-risk students, parents, and educators of the Valley, specifically by waiving the requirement for partial in-person instruction during BISD's transitional period. We have this brief opportunity to forestall the disaster that is likely to occur with students' return to school. I pray we do not let it go to waste. I thank you again for your attention to this urgent matter related to the safety of the communities I represent. Sincerely, Eddie Lucio Jr., State Senator. This is the letter that was just submitted today to the governor.
Yeah, because you just called the state senator yesterday.
We also took it a step further. I'm glad the senator has sent this letter to the governor, but Dr. Trevino, our deputy superintendent, I told her talk to TA, call them. So she called them yesterday. And
yesterday
to the Texas Education Agency, she would probably give you more of a briefing of that discussion when she presents. We were asking the Texas Education Agency that if we were to take an item to the school board, our board, to approve continuing 100% distance learning, will that motion, will that passage of the board affect school funding? Because we also understand that there may be a possibility that this decision may be left to the local boards. So I was thinking about putting an item to the board to continue with distance learning at 100%. And I wanted to know if they were going to penalize us with funding if the board approves us to continue at 100% distance learning. The answer is yes, they will penalize the district, even if the board
file a suit against them.
100% distance learning moving on after the 4th week. That's a concern because that's where the agency is pushing all of us. And this is not just a Brownsville ISD issue. This is across.
No. Port Isabel is not going back.
Submit plans.
McAllen is not going back. San Antonio is not going back.
A soft opening of our campuses the latter part of September, at the latest, early October for anyone else. But depending when the starting date was for those
all
particular districts.
About the money.
And it's a concern because if we get penalized with funding, well, then obviously that's how we keep everyone employed. We keep our district going, and
Fire your
And
deputy superintendents.
that would be a huge impact to BISD if the state is withholding funds because we are not bringing our students that
Oh, Irene.
need to come into our schools due to the lack of devices or hotspots.
Because
We're
you didn't
moving very
order them on
fast
time.
with technology,
Oh,
with laptops, Chromebooks,
y'all didn't order them
iPads,
on time.
hotspots. Dr. Cantu has a presentation also coming up in a little bit. We have some good news that we're continuously getting this technology a lot sooner than we thought. So we have some very good news that we are getting those devices, those hotspots already, and
Oh my
the whole
God.
country is ordering this. It's not just BISD. And I don't like to comment on people's public comments, but I like to say that we've been leaders in this area in
No,
ordering and getting devices a
Not
lot sooner
true.
than many others.
It's
because
not
we
true. Guys,
started putting these orders
this is
a
not
lot
true.
sooner than many others.
No, it's
And
not
that
true.
It's totally wrong for somebody to say that BISD is behind on that.
Oh,
We
no,
have
he
been
didn't.
Very proactive in ordering all of this.
You're
And
full of
not an easy task.
crap.
The whole country is ordering millions of devices, millions of tablets, because we're all in the same situation. We're all in the same crisis, and we're trying to also keep this students through distance learning, so that our students can stay safe at home, work with the teachers can work from home or the campus. We're giving them that flexibility so that we can continue providing instruction until this pandemic is better under control and we can provide a safe environment in our campus.
Liar.
But having said all of this,
Liar.
everything comes down to funding at this time. If our schools are not available for our students in the 5th week, which is September the 23rd. So
Liar.
we have to make plans. I have to be ready. I hope that the governor responds to Senator Luce's
He's
letter
not going
and allows
to.
us to continue at 100% distance learning, because that's already happening. But if that doesn't happen, we need to have a plan in place. We need to have a soft opening in place, and we need to be ready. Because
Liar.
the last thing I want to happen to all of us is to lose millions of dollars. And
Liar.
having to tell a lot of people that they don't have a job because we cannot afford
Cat.
to pay them.
We've been saying for
Due to the
months,
fact that we
order
did not have any
devices.
funding
Get
for that.
ready.
So
Liar.
I'm trying to take care of the district. I'm trying to take care of the students.
Liar.
I'm trying to take care of the staff.
Not
I'm trying
true.
to keep everyone safe.
Not
I'm
true.
trying to keep the district going. But
Ah.
we're not perfect either, but we're doing the best that we can. It's very easy to sit behind a desk or be somewhere else and criticize. We are working 110%
No, you're not.
as best as we can
You're lying.
to do the best that we can for kids and the staff.
No.
And we may not have all the solutions, but we are working super hard to
No,
make
you're not.
things work the best that we can.
You don't have any
One
solutions.
complaint is not a reflection of 6,500 employees. One complaint is not a reflection of 42,000 kids. Keep that in mind.
Liar. Ah, look at them applaud. Look at this. People applaud,
And
folks.
with that said, I just want to reassure you, we're fighting really hard. We're fighting very, very hard.
You're lying.
Sometimes have you all gone somewhere, knocked on the door and asked for something and they said, no, we don't have it. And you go to a store and you ask the manager, no, we don't have it. So you go to the next one, oh yeah, we do have it. That's how we work. We're gonna knock and knock and knock until we get an answer that is good for our district.
You
And I'm a
liars.
believer. And even if it takes to the point where they'll say, just do it so they'll stop bothering us, then we're gonna get it done. We're going to fight every day before now and the 23rd of September to get this approved, because where there's a will, there's a way, and it can be done. You know why? Because we're doing it now.
You're a liar.
And the teachers have struggled so hard to get to the kids to learn, to get them ready for online. And just when they're getting the hang of it, we want to pull the rug under them. That's a little bit difficult. So understand, we are fighting every day.
You're lying.
The TEA, the senators represented, everyone we know that's a human being that we can contact. We are contacting them. Trust me, they know me by first name. Because my thing is, if you're human, I'm going to go talk to you. And that's what Dr. Gutierrez is doing, and that's what Mr. Cowan is doing, and that's what Drew
Exactly,
and
Erica.
Sylvia, Eddie, Laura, and Prissy. We're knocking at every door, and we're not gonna stop till we get the answer that we need.
Liar.
Because the health and protection of every student, every teacher, and every faculty that works for BIAD. Mr. Cowan?
Yes, and I want to
They have no plan.
I want to thank Senator Lucy for what he did. Dr. Gutierrez and I were talking briefly, and the day before yesterday in the evening, about 6:30, something like that, and he said that it looks like we're going to be forced to go back. I mean, no matter whether there's going to be, draw a line in the sand and say, you got to go or else.
Liar!
And he said, can you help me, get a hold of Senator Lucio? And I wrote him a text and said, we lost 108 people in Brownsville. And it's hard to deal with this, but that's a lot of people to lose 2 days. And I texted a short message saying, we need your help. He called me back in 20 minutes.
Shut up!
It was really something. And I said, can we meet with you the next day? And he set up a time, Zoom, of course, everybody has to social distance protect. And he met with Dr. Gutierrez and the staff, and he asked me to be there, and I was sitting there just as a courtesy to him. Because they had asked, and he went through this thing for a whole hour and 20 minutes, and he, heard us, and the net result is this letter.
The call was yesterday.
The basis of the letter is a proclamation the governor saying that the governor essentially says that this pandemic is not over. It's still the greatest public threat we have to, the Texans. And on the basis
that's what he did.
The proclamation, he says we need to be able to figure out some way we can move forward. During the discussion, there was some things, and I think that we pointed out tonight, that by way of explanation, in terms of ensuring safety, that if you have a soft opening, it's really just what it is. You don't have to bring everybody back to the campus. You don't have to bring every child or anything like that. In fact, if people have digital devices and access to the internet, you can say, no, you have to still maintain distance learning. It would only be the very few. And then the TA even said that you could even have a couple schools that could be where you could house those students. You don't have to open up every campus. So I'm not sure how the administration is going to be dealing with that, but there is some silver linings and some of the things and options we have. But I want to thank the senator. He saw over 100 of his constituents in Brownsville, his hometown, that he loves the people of this community, and that he has grabbed this thing and moving forward.
Not true! Liars!
The teachers, and if you know the Lucios, almost all of them are teachers, including Senator Lucio. You never lose it. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. And everyone, please out there, just keep us in your prayers, keep the district in, because we do need to continue this learning, not so much for the students, but for the teachers. The teachers don't want to get sick. They want to go home to their families. And we're fighting, and rest assured, we're all calling the senators, representatives. I appreciate the people that represent us, because when you serve the public and you're willing to give your cell phone number to the public to reach out to you,
shut up,
you're a good person who's there to serve you. If anybody wants to contact a senator, representative, and call the governor's office, they will take your calls, because we want to do the best, and every board member here is 100% to protect every single student and every faculty member of BISD. And thank you, Mr. Gutierrez, because you're fighting real hard, Dr. Gutierrez. Keep up the fight and just keep knocking. What's the worst they can say? No. One day they're going to say yes, because they're going to see that we need to protect us. And thank you, everyone. Let's keep fighting and keep believing that we can do distant learning at least till December, the fall semester. Ms. Drew?
The other thing I want to add that I've watched month after month, whenever there's been any money available, any resources available, you and your team have hopped on it immediately.
Shut up, Drew!
In the front of the line at almost every turn.
Racist
long
liar!
Other districts even realized there was something available.
Shut up, racist liar!
The paperwork, made the calls, and we were there first in line to get any PPE or
shut up, not true.
Any other resources or money that were made available to schools.
What about the masks for our nurses? Liar! Racist liar!
Thank you.
I'd like to start with Dr. Cantu to present from the business and operations. And then after that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Trevino for the curriculum and instruction component. I wanted Dr. Cantu to start because in the event that we have to do the soft opening in her division, and departments have done so much to have the personal protective equipment and devices, since technology is also under her division, and hotspots. And I wanted her to cover all the safety protocols that we are putting in place because we're going to be ready and we need to be ready. And you will see in the presentations, both from Dr. Cantu and Dr. Trevino, we are ready from the facilities point of view to and also to acknowledge all the items that this board has approved for us to stay ahead of the game, to be able to provide as much of the personal protective equipment and devices that we need to be to handle this pandemic. And then Dr. Trevino will go over a timeline of a soft opening and how we can implement it as safe as we can with our students if we have to bring them into the schools, how we are going to also be able to provide those services for the students. But at this time, let me turn it over to Dr. Cantu so she can go over all the protocols that we have been working so hard to put in place to be ready in the event that we need to be prepared to bring in students and staff to the campuses and be as prepared as we can be to keep everyone as safe as possible. So Dr. Cantu,
if I may, before she starts, wanted to stress this is because we're being proactive and not reactive. We're being proactive.
Shut up, liar!
That we have to go back at a certain day. We're going to be ready, not reactive and just jump. But this is not to say we're going to go on the 23rd because please understand, you're still fighting to make sure we keep the distance learning. But if for some reason that doesn't come to fruition, this is a preparation we're making to be able to come to do.
Liar!
To keep funding everyone.
They are sending our teachers and our staff and our children back on campus.
Keeping everyone safe. And the good fight is to try to keep everyone at 100% distance learning. But in case that doesn't happen, because it's beyond our control, BISD will have a plan in place and a safe plan for everyone that should come in to be as safe as possible. Dr. Cantu.
They already told folks that they're going back. Yeah, touch the microphone. No face mask, you imbecile.
For you and share the plan for the reopening. And as Dr. Gutierrez mentioned, the fight's not over. We will continue to fight.
Shut up,
I would
liar.
like to take the opportunity to say thank you to our board because every time we brought a recommendation to support our students and our staff, you have supported our recommendation. So thank you for doing that. What I'm prepared to share with you this afternoon or this evening, let's look a quick look at the agenda for today. What are the guiding principles on the decisions that we're making? And I want to assure our community that a day does not go by that Dr. Gutierrez does not meet with us and discuss
Shut up.
what we're going to do, make sure that we're ready. Let's have a plan. We're going to talk a little bit about how do we protect each other, safety protocols, the PPE or the personal protective equipment, technology devices. I will be giving you an update on that. Also, COVID-19 signage, some of the things that we've done internally to prepare, regardless of what's going to happen. We're not going to wait.
Liars!
We're planning at this time.
Yes, sunshine.
The cleaning and disinfecting protocols.
November the 3rd. Everything changes,
What about
imbeciles.
athletic
Liars.
programs, meal distribution, and transportation? So a lot of planning going on, but I'd like to just share with you what that planning looks like. So I'd like to start with our guiding principles for
Nothing.
reopening.
It's all
And
show,
one of the
Barry
things that
Allen.
I want
It's
to
all
highlight, there's
show.
5 things that I'm not going to read, but if you'll notice, I highlighted some key words. For example, ensure safe learning in a working environment. Safety is our #1 priority at BISD. We keep that in mind with every decision that we're doing as we're moving forward. We also want to make sure that we respect the family choice of the learning format that they prefer. And that has to do with selecting, are they going to be virtual or are they going to be in person? We respect that voice. We also want to make sure that all students receive instruction that meets federal and state guidelines. And this includes access to technology, the social and emotional piece, and also making sure that we meet the needs of all populations. I can tell you that our CNI team has worked very diligently to make sure that the curriculum that was developed is meeting all federal and state standards. Also, we want to make sure that not only do we provide a curriculum, but that we provide the resources for our students and our staff to make sure that they have a successful school year.
You liar.
And of course, number 5 has to do with clear communication. And so every decision that we're making, and immediately after this board meeting, we will also send this information so that the community also has this information. So we are making every effort to do whatever we need to do. And as Dr. Gutierrez mentioned, to continue the fight for our teachers and our students. So one of the things about protecting
They're lying,
we know, a fact that we know about COVID-19 is that it's spread by respiratory droplets released when people talk, cough, or sneeze. And we also know that it's very, very important that we wear our masks, that we don't touch our eyes, nose, or mouth, and that we're doing some hand washing regularly, and that we are cleaning and disinfecting. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of these things and what we're doing in our district to address what we know about COVID-19.
Willy
How
Wonka
do we
Drew,
prevent or
liar!
mitigate COVID-19? We also know that COVID-19 has brought us some very big challenges. And so this presentation intends to provide guidance on how we're going to address the health, the safety, and protocols to minimize the risk of COVID-19. So in our district at BISD,
100%
one of the
just
very
for
first
show.
things that we did, this was, as Dr. Gutierrez mentioned, the week of spring break. The cabinet level staff came in and several principals also came in, and we discussed what do we need to do in order during spring break. So I know that the print may be a little small, so what I will do is I will walk you through the titles. If you'll notice at the very top, you'll see staff, students, and the teacher COVID-19 kids. And so what I'd like to start with is
all just to show.
this is a snippet of, we have a roster for every campus, but you can see a snippet for this is an elementary sample, and you'll see the how many teachers they have. You also see how many students they have when this is based on projections. And then for staff, we provided reusable or washable masks for teachers. They received 5 from the district, from BISD, and when TA mailed out the washable masks, we gave them 5 additional ones.
Shut up!
Each staff member at
You didn't give your nurse no masks!
10 total washable masks, reusable masks. The face shields, every teacher received 3 face shields. That was a combination of some purchased by TEA and some purchased by the district. Thermometers, we made sure that the main office and every teacher received a thermometer. This is so that we can make sure that they have the resources needed to check temperature of staff and students.
Exactly, Stacy.
The face shields, we ordered for the pre-K 3-year-old to 3rd grade, 1 per student. And I can tell you that these face shields for the little ones, our thinking was little ones at times may take their mask off. And in an effort to give them some extra protection, we're looking at a face shield. We're also looking at a desk shield for the pre-K 3-year-olds to 3rd grade. And you can see the counts there. For a reusable or washable mask, the students are getting 3 at the secondary and 2 at the elementary level. We will also have disposable masks available for our students.
Cantu is lying!
You can see that column before we jump to the teacher COVID kits, that you see the disposable.
Liar!
So every teacher in our district, this board approved the teacher COVID kits.
You had our supplies!
You had gloves, you had a thermometer for every teacher, you have hand sanitizer, you have disinfecting spray. They either got disinfecting wipes.
Liar! Expired!
Different formats.
And
we also gave them some hand towels. Now, this is a starter kit. We know that they will need to replenish this as when students come back. These items are currently available at the warehouse. One of the items that you don't see here is a most recently approved item, which was the thermal imaging kiosk. Those are we approved for every campus, and some high school, for example, the larger campuses will receive more devices than the campuses with less enrollment.
Liar!
This is the very first thing that we did, that we ordered the personal protective equipment. In fact, our orders came in way before TA's orders came in some cases. Technology devices. I know that this is a hot topic. Dr. Gutierrez talked about how everyone in the country is ordering devices.
You should have ordered back in April, May. Like I said.
Comment about, jumping on applications. We heard about Operation Connectivity. The day we got that notice, we were on it and we were submitting counts on what we needed to do. So one of the things that we did is we requested hotspots. And if you'll notice that the items ordered, we knew we needed hotspots.
Let me tell you, teachers, what Barry's saying is 100% right.
The laptops are to target
the only ones that are going to suffer are the staff, the teachers, everyone on campus. They are not.
One of the things that the CNI department did is they put out a survey for parents. Now, we know that not all parents have completed the survey. Some may not have access to the internet.
Thank you, Denise.
On the data,
I need your vote. I need your family's vote. I need everybody else's out there's vote. Everyone!
And finding out, do you need a
This is
hotspot?
crazy.
And based on this survey, our principals work on getting this data.
Everyone
we need
back to distant learning. No one should be on campuses. No one.
If you look at
Yes,
the bottom
James.
table,
No one
we
should be
ordered
back on
12,000.
campus.
And I'll talk
No
a little
one.
bit about
Give me
the
my
privileges,
5
and I
votes.
was super excited.
Give me control of the board.
His office says, we've got an order.
Liars.
Hotspots
Liars.
were delivered yesterday.
Liars.
1,900 hotspots were delivered. So we are very excited. Hotspots have been delivered to the high school and middle school, and they'll be delivered to elementary school tomorrow. So hotspots are in. The other item is a request for devices. Also in the survey, we asked how many of our parents need devices. Now, keep in mind, we've got about 41,500, 42,000 kids in our district. And the need that we have is about 11,000 devices. From pre-K to second grade, those are iPads, because we agreed that we would offer iPads for our lower grade levels. It's a piece of equipment, it's a little easier to use. We needed 6,157. In the 3rd to 12th grade, it's either a Chromebook or a laptop, and we needed 5,358. If you look at the list at the bottom, we ordered 6,000 iPads.
When?
We received an email. This is some great news. We received an email that the delivery date of the first order, the 2,000 iPads, is next Tuesday. We're excited about that. We've got plans as to.
Shut up! You should have had them months ago. Oh, they're applauding.
Laptops. Those are one of the things that I share with Dr. Gutierrez almost every day. Is my responsibility is to call Dell, Apple, and Verizon every single day. In fact, when I call, the first thing they say, Brownsville ISD. I said, yes, this is Brownsville ISD. And so I will tell you that we have been pushing the Dell laptops mid-September to early October.
Oh,
I really am pushing that they get here mid-September. They keep telling me, you have to keep in mind that we're dependent on production, and production is done abroad, and they're dealing with COVID over there too at the production. So we are pushing, and we're really working hard to get these devices to our students as soon as possible.
Oh my Lord.
I like the fact that can you go back to the slide on the hotspots?
Yes, sir.
The delivery of 11,900. I think by now we're going to cover every child with that doesn't have internet access to.
That is correct, sir. We have enough hotspots for every.
Then why are you pushing to send them back home? Liars.
Now the area where they're at. But that's the
you laugh, you imbecile.
Get the hotspots and the service that they can get through that hotspot.
That is correct, Dr. Gutierrez. And I have been informed, several principals have informed us that some of the hotspots that we have in the district already are a different provider and they don't work as well. So we may be swapping a Verizon one to see if the Verizon one works a little better. We do want to help our families to get access as quickly as possible.
Dr. Cantu, the hotspot is
everyone's going back.
Year?
We have a 1 year of service, and it is unlimited data. So they will not be running out of using a certain amount of minutes or anything.
It's a show.
Unlimited.
It's a showcase. It's all just to make them appear like they give a rat's ass.
Our hotspots are already down, and that was just not true. Yeah.
Mr. Cohen, we're talking about two different groups of hotspots. We have some hotspots with a different provider in the district right now. I don't have all the details as far as the capacity or the limits. What I can tell you is that this order that we ordered, the 12,000, those are unlimited. They're Verizon, and they will not.
And those are the other ones, the Sprint ones we had, and some of the stuff that came in from previous years.
That is correct.
And that wasn't part of this plan. That was just connectivity issues in terms of, that's a totally different issue then.
It's a very different issue, and Dr. Saceda reminded me that those were through a grant that was offered a couple years ago. So those that we have in the district are through a grant. We will have a little bit of flexibility. We also applied, that I did not post up here, but we applied, an entity reached out letting us know that we were eligible for about 6,000 hotspots free of charge. And Dr. Gutierrez sent it out that same day before the day was over, it was submitted. So my hope is that we're going to be awarded those free hotspots also.
Shut up.
The other item that we did quickly and as fast as possible was we created in-house posters so that we could give to every campus. And what you see here is also a snippet of the campuses. I deleted the campuses just so I could fit the sizes, but you can see that we ordered posters for them. For example, face masks will be required. We also talked about safety first, making sure that
It's just
they
crucial. That's all
social
it is.
distance, making sure that how to hand wash. If you notice on the far right, the red and the blue, those two items were commercially purchased because they're
Liars!
on the floors of the hallways. With the direction of how students are going to be walking. But every other poster was generated and developed in-house. And we made recommendations. For example, at every entrance, we're going to see the poster on the face mask. Oops. The poster on the face mask. And then in the bathroom, the hand washing. Also at every entrance, we're going to talk about the poster that has face masks are required. Remember to hand wash and keep social distance. So you can see the posters there. Those have been printed those that were printed and delivered or picked up by the campus administration, but every campus received them. Not only did the campuses receive them, but every department received some also. So we have them at the district office, at CAB, and so forth. And the commercial ones were delivered last week, and they started delivering this week to all campuses. So what can we expect, if before entering a campus? Well, staff is going to be asked some questions, some pre-screening questions, and these are recommended by TA. Have you been experiencing any flu-like symptoms? Have you been exposed to COVID-19 recently? Have you been near anyone that has been tested positive? And it's just yes and no. We're not going to ask for a name. We're not going to ask, timeline. We're not going to ask for any of that. It's just a yes or no question. They're also going to be asked to record their own temperature. Now, there will be two options. Remember, the kiosk machines, I was informed today that they have received them. So we're going to have them delivered to the warehouse to get them tagged, and then those will go out to the campuses. So if those are already at the campuses, if and when we return, then they can use a kiosk, or they can use a COVID-19 kit handheld thermometer.
Madam Chair, the audience may not understand what you mean by the kiosk. We voted to buy these things a couple of weeks ago. Explain what this is, and
a couple of weeks ago. Oh my Lord!
Would you please just explain briefly?
Yes, Mr. Cowan. What I can do is try and explain it in a descriptive form so that people can understand. It is about the size of an iPad. The screen is the size of an iPad. And a person all they have to do is walk through it, and it will detect their temperature. It will flag it either with red or green, knowing if they have a temperature or they don't have a temperature.
Excuse me, real quick. You said you walk through it, or
you just walk in front of it.
By it. That's
by it.
Okay.
You walk by it.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. And you walk by it. You stand for a second. Now, the interesting thing about the kiosk is that you can process over 1,000 people every hour. So it saves time of having to do a handheld temperature check. So it's a matter of walking. Now, it will also generate reports for the administration. So let's suppose somebody went in and they had a fever and they really want to stay at work, because we do have people that just work really hard and want to stay at work. The principal or the administrator can run a report, and it'll say, okay, Nelly Cantu had a fever today. And that principal can address that person at that time. So does that help a little bit, Mr. Cowan?
It does. The main thing is that it's going to be at every facility, including the main office and the CAB and every single school. Some of them have several in the campus, a large campus, when they get back. But it will immediately allow us to stop anybody entering the building who has a fever, and that's something but that's one of the telltale signs that somebody might have this. Because if you do and the other thing is, I understand from the literature that I discussed with you about this particular device.
This is madness.
That it's 99.1% accurate compared to about 75% accurate for the little guns. So this is a very efficient way, and also much more rapid.
That is correct, sir. The accuracy rate is very high. And I am very happy to inform that the company is a local company, and they were able to expedite our order. And the fact that they got here already is incredible. So we're very excited.
Incredible.
Staff will be required to wear a face mask. It could be cloth or disposable. Some individuals like face shields, and if that's what they prefer, they can certainly wear a face shield. They were provided with some, but won't be required. They will also be provided with hand sanitizer at all locations. So the teachers have it in their kits.
Oh
The
my
campus
Lord.
administrators, the department staff have been placing orders of hand sanitizer. I also want to let you know that the warehouse is well stocked with hand sanitizer,
Expired?
individual bottles or gallon size that were distributed by TEA. So we've got plenty of PPE.
Again, just real quick, there's been some contact that has been made that there's some staff that has not received some of the PPE. Let's make sure that,
Shut up, little lady!
who should they address this to? Administrators, where should they be calling?
The best bet, Mr. Garcia, would be to check with their administrator.
Of course.
I do know that I received a couple of concerns, and one of the things that I did was I checked with the warehouse, and I checked to make sure that every campus had signed because they needed to sign off. And in some cases, what happened, we had one person pick it up, and they didn't know that they picked it up. So in other cases, some people were not on campus to give them their face mask, for example, because they were individually in a bag. They weren't on campus, so they had not received them. It wasn't that they were not going to get one. It's just that they had not been on campus. So they are at the campuses. In fact, I verified to make sure that every, the PPE that was distributed, the kits for the teachers, the masks, and so forth. Now, the student information, the student items, those have not all been delivered. They're still sorting those out.
And again, PPE is not just for teachers, correct? It's for all employees.
That
Just
is
wanna make
correct,
that
sir.
clear.
All employees. Every time we calculated the
Liars!
all employees.
Other item, Madam Chair, if I may. And I think you hit on a point a minute ago, because we do have campus-based, site-based management. And, on some campuses, it's to look at how well they handle this at the campus level. And so, people need to put the pressure on the campus, the principal and the staff there to make sure that they get what they need to get.
Liars!
Because the main office can, promulgate it and push it out and set guidelines, but the campus itself has to work to able to get everything they need to their teachers, because
Nurses.
the campus level is where it's going to
Crazy.
People are going to succeed or not succeed.
Mr. Cohen, thank you for saying that. But what I do want to say is that I do believe our principals have been working extremely hard, and they have really made an effort.
They
There's
have.
a lot
You
on their
haven't.
plate, and I don't think there's any ill intent on not distributing certain things. It's timing and so forth, but we certainly will remind our principals to help us with that. So the students, we're going to check their temperature, and like I said, it could be the thermo kiosk or the handheld thermometer.
Liars.
Students with a temperature, we will be isolating them to a different location. They will not be allowed to be with the students. And then the parents are going to be asked to, or called to be picked up, to pick up their child from the school. We do not want a child that has a temperature mingling with the other students, because we know that could be a concern health-wise. And all students will be required to wear a face mask, and it can also be washable or disposable. The district is providing 2 washable ones so that they can wash, or we also have some disposable ones. So in the hallways, what can students expect when they come back? Well, there's going to be signage everywhere.
Oh,
To limit the
They got
exposure,
signs.
we're going to ask students to move in cohorts as much as possible
yeah.
throughout
Follow
the
the
day.
sign. Like
The reason for
like
that
the
is that
people
if
follow the
there
signs
is
at Walmart.
a
Go
positive
through
case, we
entrance.
know exactly which
Exit this
cohort it's
entrance.
going to
Oh
affect.
yeah.
So
Makes
we're going to
sense.
try to do the cohorts. We're
Yeah.
also going to control the movement patterns based on the signage. So
Signage.
for example, instead of having
Signage. This
the
way.
front entrance be a front entrance and an exit, it may just be a front entrance, just to allow,
There
making
it
sure that
goes.
we don't
Yeah.
avoid.
Like you have enter and
congregation of
exit at
students or
Walmart, and
congregating
people
of
follow
students.
that to
We
the
also
T.
want to make sure that we have a staggered dismissal. So it won't be where everyone's going to be dismissed at a certain time, because we want to make sure that not everyone's in the bus area or in the pickup area.
And Dr. Cantu, we know what cohort is, but a lot of parents may not. Can you explain cohort?
not-
Because they may not
Oh,
understand what you're talking about.
Philip.
Yes, sir. A cohort, when we refer to as cohort of students, means that we are grouping students together. In some grade levels, it works a little bit better. So for example, at the elementary level, we can group the class. They can go together to wash their hands. They can go together to the extracurricular activity if they can do. So we group them to minimize socializing with large number of kids. And so if there happens to be a positive case, we know exactly which group it's going to impact only and not everyone at the campus.
Erasmo has
There's
my end
also
of
some
time.
common area modifications. There's a lot of monitoring that's going to happen to encourage students to social distance. And keep in mind, students are going to be students. So there's going to be a lot of monitoring to make sure that we remind them about social distancing. For elective classes and special resources classes, such as physical ed, art, and music, we are still asking that we follow social distancing and that we limit collaborative activities. As teachers, we like a lot of collaborative activities, group work and small group. But during COVID-19, we're going to try and avoid those, limit that type of activities. A little bit on cleaning and disinfecting.
Oh.
I start by saying all hands on deck.
Shut
I
up!
know that we can't stand and
Cliches.
say only the custodians are going to do
All
this,
hands on
because
deck.
it really takes everyone work to make
sure.
sure that we're cleaning. This is the reason that we have teacher COVID kids. This is the reason we have wipes
Oh.
everywhere on campus. So we're going to ask
Counselors.
all hands on deck to clean and disinfect
Everyone.
the campus at least
Sure.
twice daily. And there's solutions and products that we have provided. The daily routine cleaning is going to include chairs, doorknobs, door
My
plates, light
Lord.
switches, handrails,
My
and you can see the rest there, faucets and cafeteria tables and restrooms. There's other areas that are typically not cleaned daily, but because of COVID-19, they will be cleaned daily, such as desks, countertops, tables, bookshelves, etc. So I want to assure everyone that there's some procedures that are in place. When CNI presents, they're going to talk a little bit about, for example, hand washing and what they're going to help students understand the importance of how to proper hand wash. But these are some routines that we're going to have in play that we are looking at to make sure that cleaning happens daily.
Oh my
Go ahead, Mr.
Lord.
Garcia.
And we're still having use of the Clorox 360, correct?
Yes, sir.
Which,
That's it.
Shut up.
And may I,
Tapon.
if I may? I guess Dr. Gutierrez, because we get calls and we get information from people that they don't have enough cleaning supplies or PPEs. Can we make sure that we are giving everything that needs to be given to every single one? And, we hear all kinds of stuff. I don't know what is embellished, what is actual fact, where they say, no, that we only give it to the secretaries, or no, we only give it to the maintenance crew. Can we make sure that we have an ample supply of all of this for everyone that is part of our district on a daily basis? Can we please make sure that happens?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mhm. So now we're thinking about, what if someone is sick? Cleaning and disinfecting protocols change. Now there's a difference between cleaning and disinfecting. So one of the first things that we will do, if we have someone in a classroom or a teacher that is sick, we're going to close off the area that the person was in. We're going to close up that area. The campus does not necessarily need to close, but we will close affected areas.
Oh my
If
Lord.
possible, we're going to open doors and windows. Some facilities allow for that, others do not. We know that if there's air circulation, that will reduce the
Yeah, let's open the windows and Hannah.
the spread of the virus. We also know that we want to wait 24 hours
Yeah, let's-
before we clean or
Oh my
disinfect.
God.
We don't want to send anyone in there. A custodian, we
Oh
don't want
my
to send anyone.
gosh,
We
this
want
woman
it to
is
sit
so
for 24
dumb.
hours before we go in and clean. The cleaning and disinfecting will be all areas that the person, used by the person that was sick. So if this person went to the library will be
Yeah, now
disinfected.
teachers
If
are
this
also
person
going to
went
do custodial
the
staff,
front office
serve
will be
food,
disinfected.
everything.
And this is where we're going to utilize the Clorox 360 equipment. And this Clorox 360 equipment, one of the things that we were challenged with was that we could not get the product because it was on back order. However, we do have a team of problem solvers that helped us with this. And our maintenance administrator, Mr. Lopez, was able to identify a way to refill the Clorox 360 equipment and buy product approved by CDC for disinfecting. So we have
Liars.
to use in our equipment. Once the area has been disinfected, it can be used, open for use. Workers without close contact with a person will continue to work. In a previous board meeting, we talked about close contact. Close contact is defined by TA as not breathing on someone for more than 15 minutes and you're not wearing a mask, or somebody sneezed or coughed in front of you,
Liar!
you were not wearing a mask. So
Liar!
anyone that is not in the, continue to work. We're gonna continue routine cleaning and disinfecting. So just because we're using the Clorox 360 doesn't mean we discontinue the cleaning. Everyday practices are going to continue.
Yes, question. I know when you said after it's properly disinfected, it can be open for use. How soon do you open once you clean? And I'm getting the question, and I've been called on this, Dr. Lieutenant. Like, for example, if you're going to disinfect a school, how many people do they use to disinfect a school? I'm sure you read online in the studies on how long a droplet can last on certain surfaces, depending on the surface. A droplet, because it can be a good size, can last up to 5 days. But when you disinfect, of course, it minimizes that. So how long after you clean do you allow that
Exactly,
particular area
Rolando.
to be open for the rest of your staff?
One of the things that we're doing right now is if we have an area that has been, we have a positive case, that area is closed. We let the virus sit for 24 hours. The second day, we go in and disinfect. The third day, we still allow it to sit for another, after disinfecting. So we're doing a total of 3 days. On the fourth day, the team comes back or the staff comes back.
They don't exist.
Thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome. This is the Clorox 360 electrostatic sprayer. And this is technology that we know that, especially in hard to reach
Open
places,
the windows.
it does kill 99.9% of the bacteria.
God.
It
She
does
is
not
so
have an odor, so
dumb,
that's the reason that
dumb.
if the need be, if somebody needs to go into that classroom, they can certainly go in because there will not be an odor. And it takes less than 5 minutes to disinfect a classroom.
Question, Ms. Bain. The training, I'm sorry, the training for using this equipment, we do have our staff that has been properly trained to be able to use this equipment to disinfect properly.
This is
Am I correct in saying
madness.
that?
Yes, ma'am. When this equipment was received in the spring of last school year, every custodian at every campus received training. And in some cases, it may have been 2 or 3 people from each campus, but we have trained staff at every campus
Not true.
and departments too.
Not true. Lies.
So I'm going to
Lies,
transition a little bit to
lies.
go a little bit over athletic activities. That I've included some dates up at the top. September the 28th, the week of September 28th,
Hold on, I'm sorry. I forgot to let this, Dr. Tipton, did you have something? I so apologize.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
I just had a
Dr.
question on how many of these, I might have missed it, but how many of these core 360 sprayers do we have?
we started with 1 for every campus, and we now have ordered a second set. We've got 2 and 3 for larger campuses.
How many do you have?
Yes, ma'am. So as we transition to review a little bit about athletic activities, if the commissioner and the governor do not change and we start on the 28th, the week of the 28th will be used for orientation and review of COVID-19 procedures. I do want to inform you that both Coach Leal and Coach Powers have been working on very specific protocols as to what's going to happen for our athletes. Then the following week, that would be the first day of practice, beginning October 5th, which is what UIL has approved. And I've listed a few of the protocols that they're going to follow. First, every athlete is going to be required to fill out a personal health pre-screening prior to participation in any activity. They do have an app that for athletes, it's called Rank 1 app. So every student will be required to complete that. They will also have to follow the protocols that we're going to have at the campuses. So one door will be for entering, a different door for exiting through designated areas. The one thing that is different here is that they have a misting tunnel. And this misting tunnel, the athletes will go through the misting tunnel before they enter the athletic location. And so this will just kind of, for lack of a better word, disinfect all students before they get started with athletic events. And then students, also athletes, the temperatures are going to be checked. Not only the coaches, but also the athletes.
Dr. Cantu, if you don't mind, Coach Leal is here. I believe if there's anything Coach Leal would like to tell us about that starting date that we're going to have, because it's coming very soon in case UIL continues and we have to get our student athletes ready. Coach, can you step up and anything you want to add to keep our students safe?
Madam President, Dr. Gutierrez, thank you. The UIL for 5A and 6A has started. It started this week, this Monday. So we're technically, with the, it's been very clear from the very beginning, the stance that our district has, that our board has, with the chance of the opportunity for our student athletes to participate. We've been trying to anticipate to find different ways in our district that we could try to keep our kids safe. We're utilizing a product that's not even being used anywhere in the Rio Grande Valley right now called Viralize. It's a low cost viral solution that NFL teams are using, Major League Baseball is using. We were able to find, obviously it's very difficult to find sanitation solutions. Right now, currently in our 16 schools, we have 2 55-gallon barrels of this solution that's ready for our athletes. We've ordered Hudson foggers for each of our athletic facilities so our coaches could fill up these machines to be able to sanitize our dressing rooms, weight rooms, locker rooms, and things like that. There's nobody in the Rio Grande Valley that is participating right now. There's been some school districts go back and forth as far as whether they were trying to determine whether, if they think it's safe enough to be able to bring our kids back. Here in Brownsville, we're going to follow the lead from our administration and our superintendent.
Oh my
if we do
God.
get the green light, that we do want to start October 5th. And I'm pretty sure that all the superintendents and all the school districts in the Rio Grande Valley are all together on this. Whether we're all going to come in, we're probably all going to come in together. We're all going to have the same mitigation rules. We're looking at trying to start October 5th, which technically gives us about 1 month behind the rest of the state. But if we do all start at the exact same time, all the ADs are in line that we could start on October the 5th, and we could try to give at least our varsity athletes an opportunity to be able to compete. Our recommendation from the athletic department is, if at the very least, if we could just compete with the varsity, at the very least, that gives those seniors and juniors that have an opportunity to be able to maybe compete at the varsity level, or in college. It gives those kids the opportunity to go. But we'll go with the recommendation of our administration. If we do start on October the 5th, that'll give us football, volleyball, cross country, and team tennis and golf starting all on October the 5th. And we'll just start rolling from 1 week at a time. Obviously, everything changes on a daily basis, but as far as for the athletic department, we're going to have our technology in place. We're going to have our sanitation stuff in place, and we're going to make sure that we're continually monitoring all the athletes on a daily basis. You look at too, we're going to be using, our district does utilize a program called Rank One. It's basically a communication mechanism that all our athletic trainers, our coaches, and our athletes utilize. Each of our kids, before they get on campus, will go pull out their phone. They could hit the app. They're going to answer the standard questions that are being asked of the CDC and also our UIL regulations. The temperature check will be given. They'll enter the temperature, they'll enter the questions, and that information is logged and documented uniformly throughout our entire school district. So if we do get a yes on any of our questions, or we get a temperature that's exceeded 100.2, then immediately they're pulled to the side and they're asked for their parents to go pick them up. And we do not interact with the same protocols that we have with our school district. So at the high school level, we ordered 2 misting tunnels. So the one's going to be placed with the girls' athletic complex, one with the boys. They'll literally walk into the facility. They'll push a button. A nano spray will come out, and they'll just walk through it, and they should be protected. 99% of the viruses and bacteria that are in contact with them right now should be good for the next 8 hours. So we're gonna dry run it with the high schools this year. Those are coming in. Actually, the first batch of them are coming in tomorrow. The next batch is coming in next Tuesday. So at the high school level, we'll have those on campus to be able just to give us another chance of killing things that are coming in from the community. And then obviously when they leave, before they go home for the day, they could run through those machines right back out, push the button, a light mist will go through there, and then they'll be protected for the next 8 hours. So just a layer of protection that we're trying to go with. Of course, all the bringing the water. Those are things we've talked about already. We're looking at our kids bringing water vessels to the practices that are in their possession. We'll have some trained
athletic trainers and staff that are going to be available there to do the filling up of their water if they need some more. So we're not sharing any water vessels. Of course, the normal sanitation, hand washing, all our athletes and coaches are going to be following the exact same protocols. And of course, we've been monitoring and researching teams throughout the state. Their 4A teams and below have already been competing in athletics for the last 5 weeks now, 6 weeks now. They've already had 2 complete games already. And
Oh my
you're seeing
God.
parts of the state where there's already been 500, 600 games in the state of Texas. There's been there's been a few teams that had to cancel or reschedule some games, but for the most part, the state of Texas has been following the protocols that have been put in place for the CDC and the UIL. And for the most part, it's been pretty successful. So we do realize that we're in a hot spot in the Rio Grande Valley. So, we're closely monitoring it. But right now, I think everybody in the Valley is kind of, wants to know if we're going to jump in or not. If we are going to jump in, we're going to jump in as an entire community. We're talking about the Rio Grande Valley. So that would be something where it's just one school district. So that's where we're going from now.
And so that you said they're going to be able to walk through that mist. You said killing things, which means it'll kill every germ that's on there.
That's
Not just COVID, but if they're having to make something up that they don't know they have.
It's crazy.
That machine will kill
It's
every
just
germ
mad
as they
as
walk
it
through
is.
and get
Absolutely
disinfected.
no
Am I
sense
correct?
whatsoever.
That's an excellent thing. Thank you.
Ms. Peña?
Yes, go ahead.
May I?
This is just a show. This is just a
Dr.
show.
Gutierrez, may I address?
That's all it is. It's a
Coach
show.
Leal, I just have a question or basically, I guess, a concern. The parent survey that went out, that is
Yeah.
out right now for the parents, that is not linked to any way, shape, or form to the participation of UIL activities in the future if we do decide to go, correct?
That's my
So for
understanding,
example,
yes.
if a parent chooses remote, they're not going to be,
Perfect. I already did it. I'll
penalized
share it again.
because they're not going to face to face
Perfect.
for them to participate if the district decides to go back on October 5th with some of these varsity events per se.
That's correct. My understanding right now is that all athletic periods, all extracurricular activities will operate before or after the school day. So they will be able to do both if they choose to go remote.
Okay, thank you very much.
Did you have anybody else have a question? Dr. A?
Yes, Dr. Thank you, Ms. Peña. I've got some questions, Dr. Gita. It's actually for Dr. Cantu.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Doctor. I had been looking, I know that we had the board workshop where we talked about the rollout of the reopening plan, that we were going to make sure that we also included some of the fine arts people and so forth. Because I'm looking for how this is going to affect band, and all the other type of UIL activities, related activities.
Liars.
That's going to go in the curriculum. Okay, I'm seeing that.
Sylvia, get back that money!
Then I'll save my questions for that. But in terms of the phase-in activities that I'm looking at,
All right, guys, I am done.
Dallas
Guys,
ISD,
it's
if you remember
over.
Dallas ISD, Silver Salinas, which is actually a
Tonight at
Brownsville ISD, Hannah High School graduate, is the athletic director over there in Dallas. And so what they actually have.
All right, guys, I'm done. I'm done. They're liars. They did this for show. They did this to say that, oh, we care, we're trying. That's why Minerva, Philip, Little Eddie, they put this on the agenda. It's all a game. Again, guys, it's very simple. You either vote for change and help us effect change, or you vote for Sylvia's candidates again. It's that simple. And if there ever was a time that you needed to come together to fight for this community, for our staff, for our students, is now. Give me my 5 chairs. Give me my 5 chairs and everything changes. Look, guys, you've already dealt with this crap for years, for decades. It doesn't work. Give me a try. Give me my 5 chairs for these next 2 years. Something different, something new, where the power, the control comes back to you. Be good to each other. Be good to me. be back at 9 o'clock. And boy, we got a lot to talk about. Tonight at 9 o'clock, we'll have a lot to talk about. God bless.